Hi there, this is Becca with Amazing Paper Grace, and today I'm here to show you some basic tips when using these all over the page punches. I have used them recently on a couple of frames that I did on a card and on this, and it was very easy. I've had my punches for quite some time, and when I first got them, didn't really quite know how to use them and I couldn't line them up, but I sat down with them to just try to brainstorm the best way to go about it, and I think I've come up with a couple of tips for you. So if you've seen the punch, they're square and they have a bottom part and an upper part, and they connect by a magnet, and the magnet's very strong. After examining them, I learned there's only one way to put it on, and if you try to put it on incorrectly, it will resist. It'll joggle around, and if you're dealing with paper, it will unseat your paper. So if you just have a mind toward always having this cut off corner where you can see it, when you place the punch down, there's relatively little movement. So this particular punch has a lot of detail. And one of the things when working with a punch is, or for success with working with any punch, is trying to figure out where they overlap, where they end, and a point of reference. So in looking at this, I actually marked on my punch, but I'll show you the first points of reference that I came up with. This is a square. It has an edge. The edge can always be a guide, and since this is a hard edge, it can also be a guide. And ever so faintly, I don't know if you can see it, in there's another line. So that's another guide. And then there are a couple of hash marks at these places where I have my pencil marks. So those are other guides. So when I sit down to work with a punch, whenever you have a guide, that's half of the battle, because it's just a point of reference. Also, since there's a lot of detail in this punch, various parts of the holes can be used as a point of reference. So for instance, say I just want to punch a strip here. The way I'm going to approach this, and I have my cutoff corner down here, I'm going to line up basically on this inner hard edge right here. And there's two ways you can do this. If you will put down 2 fingers in the center of your paper and then snap your punch on, your paper won't move. If you're a little bit nervous about that, then get some low-tack masking tape. Like this is safe release painter's masking tape. None of the residue ever comes off. It feels like paper. There's nothing stretchy about it. Like you know, it's not plastic. So this is something that I really like to use, and I'm just gonna it's my little insurance policy. Just put a little bit right there and right there, and then snap that on. And then I punch it. So that's one. So once you have your first one down, you put down your second motif in reference to the first one. So I'm going to move this down, and I'm actually dealing with this hole right here. I'm going to center that hole right on this faint line and hash mark right here. And so this still allows me to be lined up on the right hand edge. I'll put a little bit of tape down. Whoops. I'm going to line that up again. Find my reference point in that dot again. And click, punch. Okay, so that's 2 motifs, and you see how I overlapped that tape. I was able to punch through the tape with no resistance at all. So that's 2. I want to do 3, so here again I'm going to pick this dot that's at the top. I'm going to move it down to this little hash mark with a faint line here, and here we go. That's a bit far for me to see since I'm standing up. I'll put my tape down again. I've matched up my two side elements and punch. And so that gives me a motif. If I'm doing a frame, all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it and come down one side and go up the other side. I can do a square frame. I can do 4 elements in a row and 3 across. And so when you're using the edge as your guide, this is very easy. So let me set that one aside, and then the punch that I used yesterday is a heart right here. Now on inspection, it has the same little hash marks. It's got an edge, it's got a hard line right here, and then it's got faint hash marks right there. I could mark it with a pencil if I needed to, but so far I'm just fine. So let's just take a piece of paper, and here again I'm going to line it up on this hard edge and get my tape. Okay. This time I have my corners over here. Okay, so there's one motif. Now, how am I going to line this up? Well, I'm going to move this down, and I'm going to center it right in the center of, the dip here in this heart, and get it right on the edge. And put tape. Okay, that's 2. So now I'm going to do the same thing from this side. I will line it up using my guide. On the top and the bottom. Right here, it's a hard line. I'll put some tape. Click that into place. And then one more. Now I'm going to use this bottom one as a guide. Moving it down, I have a little hash mark in there that I can see, so I know I'm centered before I come to the edge. Put some tape down. Click into place and punch. So there I have a 4 square frame. On my card I did 3 in a row. So this is a good place for you to start out. Just doing straight lines and frames, and once you get the feel of the punch, then it's easier to move past that, especially if you decide that you can do markings, because with the markings I can see from the side. So I hope you give it a try and that you're able to use it on an upcoming project. I'll see you soon.